It's day one of the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships. We're live from the VC Showcase Field in Brampton, Ontario for a women's division Pool B matchup between Ottawa Luna and Remix out of Alberta. Theo Wan here with G Lee. G, we just saw Remix. They scored their first point. They're up 1-0. A smooth hold to get things going. But this is their first game of the day. So how do you feel as a team? You're playing your first game. Luna's already had a game, took a loss earlier to Stella. Who has the advantage in that situation?
I feel like the team that's just starting is going to have the advantage in this one. They are amped to play. They are ready to go, coming all the way from Alberta. A young group over there with a few veterans that's going to help shape that team. So I think they're amped up, and I think they're excited to be here and get it going.
So now we get a look at the Luna offensive line. Couple U20 players on this squad that have recently come back from Poland, so that's pretty exciting. Riley Belanger and Kira McLean as well. Sister Regan, also someone we'll talk about, having been named to the U20 team in 2020, but obviously that tournament did not happen. Belanger picking up here for Luna. Robillard, another big handler for this squad, fires it and just in and out of the hands there of McLean. And Remix gets a break opportunity here. Throw up a high stall throw, and trying to come down with it was Bosniak, but it's going to result in a turnover. So another offensive opportunity here for Luna. And a block gives it up back for Remix. And they get that short field to work with here, G.
Yes, and now this is where they can capitalize really well.
Getting that short field is definitely going to help you. It's a little bit swirly here, and finding it to the open side for the score. Ho gets on the board.
I think you're going to be seeing a lot of Amanda Ho in that end zone. She is a big name out in Alberta, played with Berta for Masters, and she is going to be a very big part of this team.
So Remix going up 2-0. An interesting team as well, because they're not just from one city. So they're from multiple cities, and that's pretty exciting for the province to be able to come together and try to build a program.
Yes, and Remix is a mix of both Edmonton and Calgary. And a lot of their players actually came from both their junior programs. Alberta is pretty big with their juniors after pre-COVID. They did a great job of building these ladies up and had a good program before. But now that with COVID happening, with everything else, Masters has kind of taken over for some of these ladies. So they're trying to build again. And this time they've combined both Calgary Wild, and Edmonton's Flurry team. So they are just they're going to go together, and they're doing really well. They played in a few tournaments together. They picked up a few people. So I think they're just they're gonna have some fun this weekend, and they're gonna really show people what Alberta's about.
They are the third seed in this pool there, G. So this is a chance for them to make that, kind of play in that pseudo quarterfinal there, and have a chance to make things happen for this Alberta squad as they come out in a zone look. Luna, the last seed in this tournament, nice grab there on the sideline. And talking to Coach Gavin Thompson before the game, a big focus for them is development, but also breaking seed. That would be exciting for this program here and something to look out for. And crossfield look gets batted, but caught by Luna on the far side. And I think Coach Thompson telling his player that it actually was a turnover, perhaps. Out of bounds is the call there. So good spirit from the coach as Remix another break opportunity, their second of this game.
And props to Gavin. He's done a great job with Luna in the program. They are a great group of young kids, and he is really excited for long-term with this group. He's asked all of them if they're ready to kind of think 3 or 4 years down the line, what do they want to do in Ultimate, and I think it shows Ottawa's doing a great job of just building these juniors up, and they're all getting a chance to play now at CUCs.
Yeah, got to play the big sister squad there in Stella earlier. A very established program, a team that, you know, gee, I don't want to give all the predictions out, especially early in the broadcast, but this is a team that you might see in the finals.
Oh, yeah.
So Luna having that opportunity to play them first, I think that gets the jitters out of the way, allows them to feel a little bit better as they move on and play some teams that they want to really be taking down here. Regan Belanger with the disc. There's 2 Belanger sisters, so we'll reference them by their first name at times. A couple lefties on the line, it looks like, which is always fun and dynamic for an offensive line.
Woo.
Gets knocked away, and a second effort not there.
I think this wind's going to affect their throws, and a lot of them are trying to throw over the top right now. It's going to get blown away pretty quick, so hopefully they can both kind of keep it a little lower.
And we saw that in the first defensive look on this offensive point for Remix when they were coming out. They came out in a zone look, so I expect to see that more with the wind, the way it's swirling. I expect that throughout this game, at least from the Remix side. Regan gonna power up a backhand, and that's gonna settle in for the score. Forrestal out of the U Ottawa with the grab, and Luna gets on the board, and you love to see that if you're an Ottawa fan in the audience, because you never want to go down a game 3-0.
No, you don't. And that was a great look, right against the wind. Beautiful smooth shot right to their cutter at the end.
Forrestal was noted as a big cutter for this squad, and you're seeing why. Luna, you mentioned the development, the 3 to 4 years. Something I remember hearing Coach Thompson talk about is giving players, especially young players, opportunities to succeed and fail. Give them a chance to make throws, try different things. Let's try some stuff out. Don't be afraid to fail, because in juniors, they might have received a lot of the heavy load for their team, putting the team on their back, but here they get a chance to just try things out.
Exactly. You've got nothing to lose. When you're out there, you're a young squad, you get to go try different things and see what works for you guys. So I love the opportunity that Coach Thompson is giving all of his players right now, and he has a lot of confidence in all of them. So for him to allow them to make those decisions and kind of learn through them is a great way to kind of develop a strong core.
And you're hoping that 2-3 years, you know, CUC 2025, you might see Luna trying to compete for semis berth, finals berth, because they've developed as a core here. Remix, a second look at their offensive line. Coming down hard on the pole was Luna, but Remix able to work out of it so far. A little give and go action. Bosniak being involved there. And a great snag from Cooksey. Keeps things moving for this Remix squad. Going right to left on your screen in the white jerseys.
So number 25 over there that's cutting in the middle is Chelsea Grimard. I'd like to give her a shout out. She's from Saskatchewan, actually. There has been an injury.
Now that's where you're from, right, G?
Yeah.
Little prairie love there for the fans and aunts. I know it's a little early out in the prairies, no?
No, just a bit.
So grab your morning breakfast and strap in for the game, it sounds like.
Yeah. Injury from Chelsea and number 44 over there. I think there was a bit of a collision. Little Christina Ward over there. Ankles, it looks like they maybe a Charlie horse. But yes, Chelsea actually came from the Bunny Thugs out in Saskatoon and has moved over to Alberta now, trying out women's. So this is a great opportunity for her. Hope both of them are okay. And yeah, they can continue playing a bit.
Bunny Thugs, a mixed team that has had success at CUC in the past. Don't see them here this year, but Saskatoon's finest. We're hoping to see you back at some point here. Bosniak, you've already seen her get involved early in this game. Don't expect that to slow down for this Remix squad as they're pressing here for another point. Good fakes, getting the mark to move by Shepard. And the swing just goes a little too far for Ho. You mentioned that as a player to watch. And Luna going to go right away. Robillard looking for a receiver. Was looking for Prudhomme, but no dice. But I don't mind the shot there on defensive line. You making the offense work the full 70 on the return there.
Yeah. Remix is having a tough time working it up, and they are giving them, Luna's giving them some trouble right now. So it is a zone, and this zone is actually kind of collapsing on them a little bit, making it hard for the cutters in the middle. There's not a lot of space. So once they can kind of crack it open, they're going to see it. You got, there you go, Ashlyn Smith with the disc over there, and she's doing a great job of moving it.
And Remix trying to go up line and results in a turnover there. But there's been a lot of good movement in that zone look from Remix. So we'll see if Luna decides to stick with it. I think obviously early on you're going to want to keep things going, of course, and just in and out of the hands for Luna, and Remix another break hold opportunity here. Offensive point for them. They are going upwind, trying to toe the line, and that is a great grab. Love to see that from Remix, making things happen.
Don't think she saw the lines, but she thought she was really, really close. It was a nice grab. I think that is Jaden Smith over there. And she did a wonderful job of ripping that. Oh, Jaden Martin. Sorry about that. She did a wonderful job of reading that disc in that wind and grabbed it, ripped it down.
Towing, I don't think Smith necessarily had to toe the line.
No.
Because I think had lots of acres of space to make the play, but either way.
She saw a line and thought, I'm on it. I gotta rip it down.
Want to get on the highlights too, so do understand that. Luna now, another opportunity here on offense. 3-1 the score here. We thank you for tuning in and checking out this live stream here presented by I Am Ultimate. Tushar Singh, our producer, camera operator, scoreboard, boss, just the purveyor of all things Ultimate here. I Am Ultimate bringing you this live stream. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for Ultimate Canada allowing the streams to happen and promoting Ultimate here within the local community. So really excited for hopefully fans of both Remix and Luna and maybe some others tuning in and checking out some live Ultimate. We got more streams coming for you, G, so it's not just this.
Woo!
We got Harfang, Red Fox. That's a super spicy mixed division matchup. It's the 1 and 2 in the pools, 3 and 5 seeds. Like, you got to tune in for that. And then at that's at 12:30. And then at 2:30 Eastern, we got Manic and General Strike, another 1-2 in the pool matchup.
So they're looking at a flatter zone right now, but Luna's able to move that disc right through it. Just a little bit of a miss. We will see if Remix can actually capitalize on this one in a vert stack.
Setting up their vert stack early here, being close to the end zone. Vanderland picking up. Edmonton native finds a receiver just outside the end zone. Vanderland receives the pass back again, and on the doorstep of a break here for Remix. Going reset instead, and they're going to change the lengths of the field and make that in for a score.
Great movement over there. It was cloggy on the open side, so they were able to swing it right across, making it super easy for Cheris Fong to make that swing.
And I believe that's Amanda Ho again, a score
look
on
at
the
that.
board. Second goal of the game. And now Remix up 4-1. G, I see Luna coming together, so I'm going to assume right now that it is a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
And G, you moonlight there. You're a commentator by day,
Yeah.
or maybe at night, and coach by day, teacher by day as well. So now you're Gavin Thompson, or your assistant coach, Alicia Racine, or the other coach there. What are you saying to your team? You're down 4-1. You just came off a difficult loss against Stella earlier today. What are you saying to the squad?
I'm thinking we're going to talk about how we're making chances for ourselves. We're giving ourselves an opportunity right now. There's a few turns that we can capitalize on. I think being a young team, something to talk about is always composure and just being chill with the disc. hopefully they can kind of step it up and just make some good decisions with the throws. Some of them are getting away a bit, but I do think there is a lot of opportunities for them to capitalize and hopefully get some discs in the end zone. Keep it chill. I think that's my main one. Keep it chill.
And I don't know about you, G, but I'm just enjoying being black here, being back in the Flower City, Brampton, Ontario. I know it's been host of many events, University Nationals last year as well. And I just remember Senior Nationals being back here in 2019. So a lot of things have changed since then, of course.
Yeah.
Some teams have come and gone, and Remix is kind of one of those where they've come out of the ashes of some other teams.
Exactly. And I love that because they're trying to still build a women's program. They're trying to keep players active over there in the Prairies. It's really hard. Prairies is a small community, and we always lose the people to bigger cities.
Matty Ong's an example of that.
Who wants to stay in Saskatchewan? I do, but other people might not. And Alberta was just kind of going through the same thing Saskatchewan has been going through, and getting players has been tougher. But this young group coming in from both Calgary and Edmonton are showing they've got a lot of promise in them. Cool thing is, in Calgary, they were coached actually by Terry Whitehead. I think lots of you guys know her. And in Edmonton, Jen Beck was also involved in some coaching for Edmonton's junior squad. So they've got a lot of experience under them and a lot of people that have been helping. So it's kind of cool to see them come together as both Calgary and Edmonton and having this great team.
Belanger looking deep in the end zone. And that Huck just going to tail away a little bit. I.O., as the ultimate folks say, out of bounds. But they ran a little initiation play for Belanger, cutting out from the handler space and tried to dial something up, changing things up.
That's what they need, and then those throws will come. Zone look again.
Right away, as you noted there, right from their offense, deciding to put on this zone. I do like that idea. The wind has settled down just slightly. You can maybe see the flags in the distance, the VC flags blowing there. But Remix now stuck in their own end zone. Trying to work it out here. Boucher, one of the handlers, trying to make things happen. Popped up throw gets scooped down. And Remix will keep it moving here on offense.
Remix is doing a good job with their handler movement right now. The Cutters might have to actually get a little bit more involved. They're asking for them to come back in a little bit more just to help out so that we can move that disc up the field.
A throw for Cooksey goes into the turf, and Luna, now you're granted a short field opportunity for a hold. Belanger going a little flick blade over to McLean for the score. So U20 players locking up for the grab. See the embrace at the end for the Luna squad. So both Belanger sisters getting involved early for this team.
Yeah, that zone's causing a little bit of trouble. So once they got that turn, they capitalized right away, just like I bet you Gavin talked to them about, and crushed it. Kept it chill. It was great.
So as the wind will potentially pick up, I know it's kind of going, I want to say even a crosswind a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would say going right to left on the screen will be the more difficult side to try to work the disc up. So if Luna can get, of course, that coveted upwind break and then switch it back, the little 2-for-1 break train, as we say, that could really help them here and get some momentum back. 4-2 the score here early on in this Pool B matchup. Tons of games happening throughout the complex. Love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Ultimate's back here.
Ultimate's back.
In Brampton. Let's go. And we see Nigel Greenways, the coach of Remix, talking to the squad, getting the offensive line ready here as they go left to right on your screen. Coach Gavin Thompson, you can't see him on your screen right now, jogging to the other side. Do like when coaches, are you a one sideline person, or are you going to be both sidelines throughout the game, kind of pacing back and forth?
I usually split it with the other coach. We kind of like to see both sides of the game, but one of us likes to be quieter than the other, so she tends to go to the quiet side.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm just going to predict that you're on the more louder side of things here. But
no. Again, you can see the handler movement between Remix doing really well. They are moving the disc quickly, getting that zone to kind of spread out a bit more.
And want to make a quick correction here. Wang actually scored that more recent goal for Remix, so Wang getting involved as well. Amanda Wang, Amanda Ho, you know, double Amanda power here for Remix.
Yeah.
As they're trying to get this first W at CUCs in 2022, and they've worked it up, and I think Luna will go into a traditional person here. Snagging it right off the turf was Husband. Resets it here. Looking for Wang. Wang gonna get on the board once again. And that's
Looked like the exact same play.
Yeah, absolutely. A little dump swing to that far side to Wang, and Remix back on the board.
Great job by Remix moving that disc up that field. Their handlers will be a very big part of their game, especially in this wind, but they're doing a great job of just getting that zone to move and spread out. So it's good to see that they're active, and they're really trying to break through the zone that Gavin's trying to put on them. I mean, Luna.
Well, Gavin is a big part of the program.
Yeah. He's talked about his own zone very much, and he's developed Luna, and he's developed his own zone, and he's trying to figure out some different defenses to kind of throw at other teams. Something he told me in the beginning of the game was that this game was going to be very important for them to kind of get the feel of what Remix is all about, because they've never played them before. And like many teams, it's hard to go out of your own province almost to play unless you're going to the U.S. So same with Alberta, they haven't really gone beyond. I think they went to BC, but as a smaller group. So seeing these teams at CUC might be their first time. So first few points are going to be just about getting the feel of things, figuring people out, and then capitalizing when you can.
So that makes it tricky, too, based on location, right? I think for the folks that are listening in Ontario, they might not necessarily understand some of the ails of teams in the prairies or even smaller communities out in the Maritimes or out in the East Coast. That's not something that people in Ontario might understand. So maybe just enlighten us a little bit with some of the challenges of recruiting players.
Really, I think a lot of it is the community for Ultimate Frisbee in the prairies is much smaller than the bigger cities. So building programs is about reaching out to teams, reaching out to players from other sports and seeing if they'd like to try it out, and then usually getting them to get really interested so that they can continue playing, especially at this level. It's like herding cats, but it's great.
Belanger looking for another assist, and just a little too far there for Thomas. McLean had made a great grab earlier to stay within the line. Remix gonna have to work that right to left on the screen. Thank you for sharing that about, you know, the prairies and how recruiting is a little bit different in various cities, and that's what makes coming to a tournament like this where there's teams from all over just makes it that much more special. So Remix gonna have to deal with this Luna zone. When I was talking to Coach Thompson earlier before the game, didn't seem to be that much wind, so he wasn't even sure if they were gonna put on a zone, but clearly as a coach you gotta adapt, and they've done that. Bennett, some fakes here. One of the Calgary players. You know, I was talking to Coach Greenways as well, Nigel, and he said it's kind of a 50-50 split. I don't know if it's exactly 50-50, but there's a lot of Edmonton, a lot of Calgary. It's not just one or the other. There's a bit of both here. Robillard's going to get the block and get things back for Luna. Down 5-2 here, but it is an offensive point. Her and Belanger going to be really key in the handler space for them if they're going to be successful here today. Throwing it out to Prudhomme. Prudhomme's going to float out into space for Thomas, but he gets smacked down by Bosniak. Bosniak rejecting the disc, smacking it into the turf.
She is one of the better defenders out there right now, and I actually have had the opportunity to play against her, and she is feisty, especially on defense. Does a great job of reading the disc and really runs through it. Makes it real hard.
And with these zone looks, it's going to be that game of not necessarily which team blinks first, but both teams going to have to stay level-headed. There's going to be turnovers in zone. There's going to be the wind and some things happening. It's just going to be which team can stick with it and not get frustrated. I'm sure you've seen handlers that just get frustrated and throw a hammer in the wind or some over the top to deal with the zone. And sometimes it doesn't lead to good results.
No. I think that's experience coming into play, too, and figuring out when can I throw that and when should I holster it in.
Bennett trying to get Remix to a break, and that throw just hits into the turf. We mentioned the wind situation earlier, and Bennett just having an open receiver, but it just heads in to the green turf. And Luna, you get another opportunity. You're gonna have to work the full 70, but you do have the wind kind of at your back. So
this has been a long point, so you're gonna start to see too some fatigues showing in some of the players.
Nice little inside cut. Belanger didn't get the first cut, but as I say that, Robillard can't handle that pass. And sometimes you know what it's like playing in wind. The wind can play tricks on you. Disc comes up on the hands when you're expecting it to come a little bit lower, and those things can happen. Around break, Bosniak, great throw and vision from Robin Bosniak, finding Melanie Phillips for the score, and a break for Remix. They're up 6-2.
That's a vet knowing when to throw a lovely break throw over a top and around all the players.
Just around the stack.
So pretty.
A great throw. Luna's already used one of their timeouts. I think they're going to have their offensive line jock back on the field, or looks like actually a whole host of new line here coming back on the field. And teams have different philosophies with that, right? Some teams will run out their offensive line again.
Yeah.
But especially that point being a long one, I like the move to just go with a whole new group and see what happens.
Starting fresh sometimes helps too, and getting, maybe they have a different view of what's going on and they have a different look that they can kind of use in this point. Jamie Boss, thank you for the comment. The third coach.
We thought there were only two coaches, so now they have a third coach.
So
that's exciting.
That's Jamie Boss that you guys see on the line right now in the white shirt.
That's Alicia.
Is that Alicia?
And then Jamie's on the far side talking to the players that were just on the field.
Yes.
So Jamie Boss with the black hat on, patrolling the sidelines for the Ottawa group. Nigel Greenway's also walking down.
Yes.
Got the little camper hat on as Remix. They got that break going on the tougher side, so now it's going to be real tough sledding for this Ottawa group. Can they work it up more or less on the upwind side? And a throw, maybe a little too much sunscreen or something, because that throw just a little too far for Belanger. And Remix will gift it right back. So
here's their opportunity again. We'll get it back. Hopefully they can move that disc and keep it going.
And normally you don't see that kind of miscommunication, and sometimes those things happen, but you know Luna's going to sharpen things up here as Belanger going up line. Multiple players in the area, but the tall receiver gets there. That's August Watson. And turning around after the throw, realizing not the look that Watson was necessarily going for there.
Tough throw behind the player. It's always hard to kind of do it, but Remix is giving them an opportunity again. We've got the disc back. Let's go, Luna. I think they can, this is my coach coming out, but I think they can actually take this and score. Let's just work it up.
Watson going to be an important part of this team. I see a lot of their cutters, they've kind of split up onto the two different lines. Belanger going cross field for the score. That's Olivier and Charlotte Olivier. A little France native for the grab, and Belanger gets her second assist of the day. And Luna keeping things within a manageable number. I think if they had given up another break going down 7-2, that would be real tough sledding. But now it's 6-3. They scored on that tougher side. Now they're gonna make Remix do the same.
And they've given Remix a little bit of trouble down on their end zone. They've set up a few different kind of looks on them. So hopefully they can get another turn and just get another break. Get this game a little closer and get their energy back up. It's just looking a little bit, I feel like Luna's looking a little like they're making too many decisions or thinking about it too much. So it's hard for them to just kind of play and push through that. It also makes the game a little bit harder in your head as a player, overthinking.
And I know that something I've heard from younger players who don't know as much about Ultimate or don't know the players they're matching up against, often they'll just play free because they're not worried about you know, this other team or this other player on the other side of the field. So that's always fun to see that because they're kind of fresh to the sport. They're not worried about certain matchups here. But a little stats update for you. Remix has had 3 holds. 2 of them were clean, meaning they didn't have a turnover. Whereas for Luna, they have yet to have a clean hold. So they're showing their scrappiness on offense, having a couple turnovers, but able to get either gifted by the defense or make some plays happen for them. And now they're going to go person defense here, as there's a call on the field. I believe it was a pick call. So Remix is going to have to kind of adjust their offense because they've come out more, of course, in the zone offense when Luna was doing that. But Luna decided to switch things up, and I do like that. Keep the offense on the heels. Bennett looking for her dump. That is Ho. And we know Ho is going to be a big player for them. And in and out of the hands of Cooksey. And this is that downwind break opportunity for Luna. Melway going to pick up for the Ottawa group. Are they going to go right away looking for a deep shot? Robillard gets it up line, power position. Going to launch the huck up. And turning around was Prudhomme. But it just didn't work out for them.
That was a great look by
Robillard.
Yeah, it was a great look. You had cutters going a little bit. It turned a little at the end. It could have been the wind. From over here, I do think the wind is going to actually be a bit of a factor for them, especially on those hucks.
McLean's going to get the block, and now you get a short field to work with. Luna going across the field.
That's the
break. With a great grab. And Luna gets the break. The Belanger making things happen. That's Riley on that end. Finds Simard for the score.
You're starting to see a lot of Luna's like big guns coming out, and they're making really good decisions on their hucks. So I hope to see a little bit more of that coming out of this. Remix has done a good job of containing their handlers and making those throws very difficult for them, but they're taking great opportunities, and these break opportunities that they're having, they're doing a wonderful job of just capitalizing and scoring when they need to. So keeping this game close.
We talked about that upwind, downwind, G, about how you score going up that hard side on the right side, then you get the break on the return. So that makes it pretty beneficial, of course, to be able to do that. The 2-for-1 swing, as we call it, and they did just that, and now it's 6-4. They're going to, of course, have to work on that right to left side, and we'll see what Luna can do here. They're definitely feeling some momentum right now. You got 2 straight. Had a couple short field turnovers that you took advantage of there as well.
There's the pull.
Short pull there, puts it right by midfield.
Looks like a match D, Theo.
Yeah, they came down earlier with the match D as well, so I think they're just electing to stick with the high stall throw is going to result in a Remix turnover. And I don't know if you can feel it in the audience, folks, but on the field, we're feeling that momentum
feeling the energy.
Shifting it over to the Ottawa side, but there is a call. Could be potentially a stall out. We're just going to, unfortunately, observer's not mic'd up, so we actually can't tell you what's happening. But it looks like it is a turnover. It's going to stay with the Luna side. Coming out in vertical stack here. Belanger. Goes with a round just as a lefty. That's so devastating because you're so used to marking a whole different hand.
It's such a nice throw, too.
Simard's height really playing an advantage right now when those popped-up throws coming right to left on your screen. Luna celebrating as another pickup throw and trying to go third time a charm. Doesn't work out for 4 still. A couple dangerous throws were scooped up by Luna, but the third one not the case. Going up line.
Megan Ganley with the disc. I actually had the opportunity to coach a few of these Edmonton, the younger girls. So Megan was one of them. Great arm, really good handler, sees the field very well. And if she can throw it, she will.
Like the shooters, you know,
Woo!
they get the shots. So
Shooter's going to shoot.
shooter's going to shoot is exactly right. Hoping to see more of that from both squads here. Vanderland trying to do some fakes to shake the mark, going inside and finds Wang for the score, one of the captains of this team. Vanderland hits Wang. That's a connection that we've already seen there. Second time here today. And that's a hold for the Remix squad. They avert disaster and keep the lead at 7-4.
You can see the veteran presence on Remix actually benefiting them a lot compared to Luna with their younger squad. The decisions that they're making are just a lot, I would say, smarter in a sense, or just more calmer. So they're looking for good opportunities to put the disc in, and they're also holstering when they need to. I think Luna, once they start playing a few more games and start understanding that concept of just those decision making, their team's going to just grow from here.
It's that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Especially for a division that has been a little bit affected, of course, than the others from COVID. So in 2019, there were 16 teams. Your team was one of them. But now there's only 10 teams here. Luna out here on offense, going left to right on your screen. They're going to have that little downwind advantage. And some discussion here as Remix didn't have all players on the field there, as our producer Tushar was informing us. Didn't have that. Rolling pull here past midfield. Luna, this is their last game of the day, so they got to kind of put it on the line. Remix, they play Venus at 12:30. Venus actually got a big victory here today, I believe on Universe, 11-10 over Cube. So a little 7 seed upsetting the 3 seed early on in this tournament. We love that. Belanger going. There's 2 receivers, and coming down with it is Simard. Riley Belanger really making things happen right now. 3rd assist of the game. Giving some of these young players opportunities, and they're taking advantage of it.
Yeah,
right
under
now.
pressure in the air, Samar just came down with the disc. It was a wonderful put by Belanger. So they're fighting. They're fighting real hard. They're looking real good, and hopefully this momentum continues to half.
See a timeout being called. Not sure from which team, as both teams centering on the field here. And from that first timeout we saw earlier in the game when Luna was down a couple points, their, I don't want to say mindset, but their play has definitely shifted, and they've looked more comfortable now in this
their
latter
attitudes
parts of the first
changed.
half.
Yeah, their attitudes changed. They're like, oh, we're in this. Let's go. And you can start seeing, like, they're confident with their throws. They're starting to make their throws, and those completions are coming. So they're fighting hard through the little errors that they're making, and they're making it really difficult for Remix right now to score as easily as they did in the beginning.
Belanger, who scored that, or excuse me, threw that point earlier. 6 assists at the U20 championships. Part of the Canada squad that got 3rd. Got a bronze medal. Open, unfortunately, finishing 4th there. And, you know, there's been a lot of world tournaments happening recently. We had the World Ultimate Club Championships. Yeah. We had WJUC. And now we have U24s on the horizon as well, right, next year.
Yeah.
But we're seeing this, I know this is CUC, but we're seeing a lot of the world trying to catch up and getting there and perhaps even exceeding what Canada is doing. So the development of some of these young players is going to be important.
Yeah, this development is going to be key for our next group of kids coming up. These U24s, these U20s, they're all here right now. A lot of them, as you said, Luna's got 3 on their team. And so you can see that their programs are building, and it's fun to kind of be part of it and just be part of that experience.
Ottawa produced the most Team Canada junior athletes I think they ever have. Someone in the
Wow.
audience from Ottawa can maybe correct me, but I've never seen that many Ottawa players, especially on one U20 roster. So that's something cool to see from Ottawa. I know other cities like a Toronto
Yeah.
faced a little bit of a tougher challenge, let's just say, with retaining some junior talent, and just with the pandemic, the 2 years off, we were greatly affected. I know
The
Toronto
pandemic's
will
hit
have
hard.
some squads here at juniors, which is going to be Monday to Wednesday after this tournament. So if you're a fan of Ultimate, you can stay tuned for that as well.
And something to think about too is that a lot of the juniors or that you're seeing now at CUCs have not played at CUCs for 2 years. There's a turn by Ganley, a drop.
Belanger, you know, is just going to put up the backhand. But two remix defenders, and Ganley going to atone for the error there with the block. That's what you like to see. Heads up play. Great snag there from Lacey. A remix spirit captain making the grab. Stoppage in play.
Pick was called. Or foul was called.
Some discussion to be had by both players, and mentioned talking to Nigel earlier, the coach. And a big thing for them in this game is to just dial in, kind of get their legs under them. For a lot of them, this could be their first nationals. You mentioned that, both either on the senior or junior side. So get the legs under you. Just feel good after this first game. I know it's on the live stream remix, so you know you get to watch this back, which is fun. You get to do a little scouting on yourself potentially.
Funny story, they were saying they were panicking this morning because they couldn't get their jerseys. They got it right early in the morning before they started warming up. So I think after the chaos, they've calmed down and they're at it now. They're at CUCs. They're in Brampton. It's a nice day, and we're going to play some good Ultimate.
Luna gets a break opportunity. It's 7-5 right now, and you know, even going down half 8-5 isn't too bad, but at one point it was going to be potentially disastrous for Luna. They were able to score things back on offense and kind of avoid going down 5-2.
Nice bid there.
And so let's see if they can get this break going up right to left on your screen.
Charles Fung with the hand block on the line. Woo woo! She is a Masters player. I think I've said that already, but she is showing these young bucks how to do it.
And unfortunately, if you're a remix fan, open side throw sails away from the receiver in Ganley and kind of negates the sweet block we just saw there from Charles Fung. That got you excited in the booth
I
there,
know,
G.
it did.
And a run-through block from Ganley. Ganley's had multiple blocks in this game, atoning for some turnovers. And we talked about how both teams are going to have to be able to reset their minds when there's a lot of turnovers in the zone look. And Fung's going to find a receiver for the score.
Yep. It was a very smooth executed end zone play. 1-2 punch.
You like the resilience there as...
I do. I think Luna's getting a lot of turns. Luna's getting opportunities to score. I think this game could get closer if they could get a few more breaks after half.
It actually is half right now. Remix does get the break, or excuse me, the hold to get themselves into half 8-5. We thank you for joining us for this coverage. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to grab some water. Hopefully you do the same. And for some of you in the on the west side of the country, maybe you're just grabbing breakfast. So do that and then come back and watch the conclusion of the second half.
And during halftime, this is Tushar Singh from I Am Ultimate. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to hand it back to the commentators very soon. CUC Brampton, the senior CUC, we didn't really have one last year. We had UCI, which was held in October, November time period in Ottawa. So we've missed out on nationals for a few years. This is a big deal. We hope you'll join us for the next 3 days. Finals on Sunday from Terry Fox Stadium. Very excited to be bringing you the 3 games from that location. And it'll be followed by 3 days of Juniors Ultimate, also streamed from here through Ultimate Canada. So thanks for joining us, and I'll turn it back to the commentators now.
Appreciate that from our producer, Tushar Singh. You're watching the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships Pool B action in the women's division. Luna in the purple jerseys going left to right on your screen right now on offense against Remix out of Alberta in the whites. Theo Wan here with G Lee and G. Remix took the lead 8-5 as we see a turnover into the turf from Luna. Their first offensive possession of this second half. What can Luna do to try to get back in this contest? They've run some zone, they've gone in person a little bit, but what can they do to make a run here?
I think in this win, they got to clean up their throws a little bit. We're seeing some unforced errors in their throws. If they can clean that up and just kind of be a bit more chill with the disc, they're going to see less turnover.
A pick was called, but it's going to be inconsequential as a turnover. An overthrow from Remix going to grant Luna another opportunity here. Robillard gets open again. Has been a big shooter for this team. Going to put out a big backhand to Samard. But great defense from Bosniak. Been saying her name multiple times. A captain who's played also for that Rogue Hippo squad, a mixed team out of Alberta, correct?
Yes,
did I get my
that's
Prairie's
right.
knowledge right? Batted disc. Good effort to keep it in play by Boucher. Boucher and Bennett going to go back and forth a little bit there, and 2 big handlers for this team that we've seen throughout this game. Boucher going to get the around throw now. Here, cuts from the back being called. Go with the backhand themselves, some miscommunication possibly. See an observer's hand up as well, so perhaps a foul or a pick. But I think it's just going to remain with Luna.
It looks like it is going back to Luna. Play on.
Play on.
Play on.
On the VC Showcase field. We thank you for tuning in. It's second half action. This is the first point of the second half. Brown can't reel that one in and goes right away to play defense, like the heads-up play there. This might be perhaps controversial. No, it's going to be ruled other way because it's a foul. I thought it was going to be maybe up-down call that we're going to have to take a look at, but looks like it's going to actually stay with Remix, with Boucher. Bennett. That throw just goes in the turf. I don't think that was hand block,
Nope,
G. I think that was
it
just
slipped.
an unforced error there.
Yep, another unforced error from Remix. It's again, both teams need to clean it up a little bit to get this point done, or they're going to be out here for a while.
Well, if you're Remix, I don't think you mind a game that's a little bit, this kind of, I don't want to say back and forth, but like a couple turnovers here and there. It's a little bit, the play gets elongated a little, because you have the advantage right now. Time's on your side. This backhand's going to try to look for the receiver there, but unfortunately hits the turf for Remix. So they are giving opportunities back.
And again, this is Remix's first game, so for them to have these long points, you can also kind of work through some of the issues and the things that you're struggling on.
Robillard's going to keep shooting and find Samar, who's been all over the end zone, multiple goals. Robillard going to get on the board for the first time in the assist category, but that's a much-needed hold for Luna. They reduce the deficit to 2. They hold. Now they're going to have to try to break going right to left on your screen, but Justine Robillard been given the green light, as you probably have noticed
Yes.
in the crowd there in the audience. Every time she gets a disc, she's looking to shoot.
And I think she should shoot a little bit more. In the first half, we had Belanger having a lot of nice huge
Both
shots.
Belangers
Both
getting
Belangers are
involved,
like
you know.
just going at it. We've got to get Robillard in this game. And once she feels her throws are coming in, we're going to see a lot more from that too.
Robillard is a member, or was a member, of Ottawa Wicked, a team that is prime for perhaps a finals run at juniors, perhaps a gold. I know they're going to have to take on potentially a really strong team from Vancouver in Eclipse. So Wicked, hopefully some of the players are watching in the audience, enjoying Luna making some plays here on the live stream, and maybe one day we'll see you, Wicked players, on this stream as well. I know a handful of them have come from this program, and that just speaks to the development of that city. And you're not just going to see the benefits in this U20 cycle, but I think a couple U20 cycles as well.
Yeah, and I think what's great is that most of Luna right now is from the Wicked program. So they have a great chance to go play Adulton on a team that's well established, has great coaching, and is really, really trying to build something.
Ganley had a high stall throw scooped up by Lacey to keep things moving for Remix, because they had some issues with the stalls the way they were. He moves it forward. He gonna go give and go. Just on the doorstep of the end zone. Goes with the around. Good fake, but Wang can't clap catch it for the score. And sometimes when the throw comes in too hot, the clap catch, it just goes through the wickets almost.
We try so hard to catch it that we miss it.
Great grab. Watson had to turn around for that one. Needs a reset. Probably going to look for Belanger, but instead going to have to throw it to the far side of the field. Just tailing away, but reeled in by Olivier. Batted disc. Kept in bounds by Letourneau. And this is a really good break opportunity. Belanger telling people to move, going across the field for Watson. And we saw that earlier. We're seeing it once again. Regan Belanger making things happen for the Luna squad.
She wanted that. She was asking
Absolutely.
for it.
Gee, you're a handler as well, so I'm sure you've done that where you've just kind of pointed and said, go that way.
I feel like that's a thing I always do. And sometimes you get tunnel vision. That's the throw you want. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But when it works, it feels good. Timeout for Remix right now. They got to try and stop this momentum.
Definitely a good timeout call from Nigel Greenways, the coach there. Deciding to kind of, as you mentioned, stop some momentum. They're going to that right to left on your screen, a little bit the more difficult side. And one thing we always want to give a shout out to is the coaches that have devoted their time into developing the different programs here. Luna having 3 coaches, Gavin Thompson, Alicia Racine, and Jamie Boss. Jamie Boss, someone, if you watched any Ultimate in the 2000s, you would have seen her name there. And a big part of giving back is allowing some of these top-level players who might still be playing, deciding to, give back to their communities and do that as well. Boss having played for Stella in the past. Solstice, I know that's a women's Grand Masters team out of Ottawa that's done very well. Won Nationals or USA Ultimate Masters Championships in 2019. So little shout out there. And was a coach on Stella B before. The little rebrand. I like the rebrand going to Luna. We talked about this yesterday,
We
G.
did.
Why don't we share this on the air? We talked about, we love the B teams, first of all.
Yeah.
B teams, love it. C teams, love it. But don't necessarily love when a team is just named the B, like
We don't need the B.
Stella B.
Yeah.
Just have your own identity, and that allows the players to buy in too.
Exactly. The buy-in's important, and you put a B next to it. I don't know if it does anything for anybody other than the fact you're on the B squad. So Luna having their own program, their own identity, and you can see it's good to see, and you can tell that their confidence too. They're going to be a strong group coming up. So, yeah, we don't need the B. No C. We're good.
Well, it's funny because the other Ottawa team here, one of the other Ottawa teams, Phoenix, a team that has the second seed in this tournament, a team that's perhaps primed to make a finals run. Some experts would say that. Some would say maybe they're a little bit overseeded. You know, it's up to you and the audience to decide for yourself. But they're also a team that got the B in the name, but I think that's just a play off their team name there. And interesting note here, G,
Zone's
is
back.
because the zone is back.
They're
We
back?
saw it disappear for a bit, maybe
Yeah.
go in hibernation, but now it's come back out.
It's also funny because the winds died down. So
Yeah, interesting time to kind of put it on. Bennett's at a high stall, gonna have to get rid of it. Finds Ho. Been a little bit quiet in the second half. Haven't
It
called
is.
Ho's name as much in this second half, and I think if Remix is gonna be successful, you're gonna have to hear her name a little bit more.
I think with the zone, they're getting more touches, but when they were playing Match D just now, Luna had a good opportunity of just closing out on some of their stronger cutters one-on-one and handlers, actually. So
Robillard gets
this
the
is a
block, and
chance.
just happy also that made a safe play to make that block. Sometimes you see two players crashing into each other and heads perhaps bashing together. So didn't see that on that play, and very happy to not have seen an injury on that one. As this throw does go out of bounds, and it's going to give a shorter field for Remix to work with. Ho to pick up for the squad in white out of Alberta. Ho guarded by Belanger. Trying to get to the center of the field. Bennett. Keeping swinging it to that far side. Remix on the move here as Ho trying to direct traffic and gets the reset. Ho finds Lacey blazing out of the stack just outside the end zone. And Lacey will find Bosniak for the score, and Remix needed that one
Great
badly.
movement. It was great movement over there by Remix. They were able to move that disc well and had a great shot to Lacey right on that end zone line. Popped it right in.
Get the veterans involved. Bosniak,
Oh,
we
yeah.
mentioned. A little rogue hippo playing with Flurry
Rogue
as
Hippo.
well.
Edmonton Flurry, Calgary
Berta.
Wild, Berta. They're all represented right here.
And who is Berta, for those who might not know, because, you know, some people aren't tuned into the women's master scene potentially in the audience. So who's this Berta squad that we're referencing here?
Berta is the women's masters team coming out of Alberta, and I think again it's a squad from all over Alberta. There's a few pickups from maybe BC, but good little team. Again, we've had the opportunity of playing with a lot of their players, playing against them, playing with them. The Prairies are just it's a good small community of players, so you kind of get to know everybody.
Don't think it's a timeout called as we see players just kind of on the line. One thing I will always say is when teams come together after a point, regardless if you get scored on or if you score, the fact that your team comes together, I love that. I'm a big proponent of it. I see it a lot in juniors as well, G.
Yeah.
Love it because especially if you get broken, the worst thing for an offensive line is to just walk back down the field and have all the other players looking at you, seething with anger that you got broken and just walking back, right? So the team's coming together, love it.
I think that's a cool thing about Ultimate is that the vibe after points isn't just you guys on the line. It's everybody on the field that's part of the experience is there. And it's something that everybody pushes for. You want a good team environment. You want that culture to be there. And you want everybody helping each other.
Remix going to get a break opportunity here. Up 9-7, trying to restore that three-point cushion they had out of half. Going down the line. And almost getting there was Tien. But Luna getting the hands on that, perhaps saving this game. We've been an hour so far in this game, 65 minutes. Good effort there from Forrestal, but can't snag it or reel it in. So Luna, a second turnover on this point. This seems like a critical offensive point right now. Don't want to get that three-point deficit, especially with not as much time left in the game.
I think it's a time where both teams need to step up and just kind of clean it up a bit. If Remix scores this, it gives them a lot of momentum kind of pushing through. And this is where they need to start punching those in a lot more and less turnovers.
And we see them do just that, getting another score on the board. Tien getting involved. And that's Vanderland, third assist of this game, and that's a break. Making things 10-7. Luna I'm not going to say they're not dead just yet. They're
No.
not out of the game, but it's starting to get to a point where they're going to have to really dial in some of their throws. I love on D-line, especially when they're shooting it, but on offense, kind of reeling things in because time is not on their side right now.
Yeah, right now I think they really need to clean that up. If they have the opportunity to put it in, they need to clean up their throws and their catches. Because right now they're looking for the right things, but they're just missing it by like a centimeter or two, and they're just making drops. So if they can clean that up, they can make this still a game. Always a chance. There's always a chance.
Weird things have happened, so don't you forget it in the audience that this 10-7 lead is very doable / you never know. There's always comebacks in Ultimate, so make sure you stay tuned for this one and more streams coming up. I know, G, you're going to be on the call for the next game as well.
I will.
A little Quebec, a little interprovincial Quebec matchup. Gotta love that. Harfang, St. Jean sur Richelieu versus Red Fox out of Sherbrooke. 1 versus 2 in the pool matchup. Decide who maybe gets a bye into quarters. You got to tune in for that one at 12:30.
It's a drop.
And then also 2:30 as well. Manic versus General Strike. And a drop pull from Luna. That's going to be frustrating if you're one of their fans in the audience. Saw Coach Thompson a little bit displeased as well. And
that was really unfortunate. It hit her shin. I think she thought it was already going to be down, and it just hit her in the shin.
yeah, you never want to see, drop pull sometimes happens from catches, but if you just get hit by a pull, you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And not only that, it dejects you on defense, and there's a short field to work with for a remix. And if they're going to try to punch us in and really take a stranglehold on this game, defender gets lost to the break side, and Ho gets the assist. Finds Boucher for the grab, and that's another break. A second straight from this remix side. They take the lead 11-7, and Luna going to really have to find it within themselves now, down 4 with this much time left.
Yeah, that was a tough break. Like I said, it wasn't anything you could control if it hits off your shin. So
try to move the leg out of the way or
it's
something.
hard. You got to dive out of the way sometimes, but
Yeah.
they got to fight back. They have chances, and hopefully they could get some turns.
Get some fans shooting some pictures of the people in the booth here, and want to thank once again our producer Tushar Singh, Ultimate Canada for putting on the broadcast, City of Brampton for helping support this tournament as well. People often ask, is there a big Ultimate community in Brampton? I think it's continuing to grow, but a big part of it is this facility, just this vast amount of fields in a very pretty close proximity, and that's what makes this facility great for this tournament. So love that. Also want to give a shout out to the people in yellow. That is our volunteers working tirelessly to keep score or refill water, set up cones early in the morning before G and I even woke up. So they were out here early in the morning setting things up for these players. So just want to make sure the volunteers know that they are loved and thanked for all of their hard work.
I tend to thank every volunteer when we're playing. We're just like, thank you, thanks for being here. So if you can, go thank a volunteer.
Let's be honest here. Volunteers could be doing other things on their Thursday. They could be having lunch. They could be working. They could be at school, whatever. But they said they choose to devote their time to help out at CUC. So yeah, give them some love here. As Luna out here on offense, I'm gonna say it right now. G, must score at this point. Must score. I think you're in agreement with me here.
I fully agree.
Must score, and that throw not gonna work out for Tremblay. But we've seen their offensive line get things back. So just because they turn it over doesn't mean they're dead to rights here. But a big part is going to be trying to get things back, show that resilience, and you're gifted a chance right now. Bennett can't reel that one in.
Again, their throws right now just need to be cleaner. They're looking for the right things. They're making the right decisions. They just got to clean it up a bit. But you can tell also that these young ones are getting a little tired. After all the turnovers that you're seeing, you're starting to see that fatigue set in even more.
Yeah, I see that coaching mind coming up. The young ones, as you said, big
Young
popped-up
ones.
throw here by Bennett. Finds Bosniak for the score, and Remix is rolling and trying to roll into a Pool B victory, and they're looking like they're going to do so, up 5 points right now. 3 straight breaks, G. 4 straight points total. Remix is starting to feel it right now, and I think that's going to bode some success for them later in terms of being able to face a little resistance early in the game, able to punch back out of half. I think that will help them in some of these other key pool play matchups.
Yeah, and again, this is their first game. They're just getting warmed up. They're just starting, right? You're coming from the prairies. You got a long flight. Now you're playing Ultimate, and I think they're going to improve from game to game, and it's just going to keep getting better.
With that upset earlier of Venus over Cube, Venus was the 4 seed in the pool. It's going to lead things to be interesting because you want to finish top 3 in your pool so you can get into like the power pools kind of deal. So this Venus matchup against Remix coming up next is going to be very important, that next game for Remix. So they're going to key in for that. I know Venus, I can see behind us getting ready for their matchup. Looks like they're playing a game against PPF. So lots of action happening here in Brampton. That's all we're going to say.
Yeah.
Come on down.
You should come down. It's a great place. The weather's great. I've been here for a day now, and the Ultimate is looking real good.
And I do see PPF and Venus warming up, but they're actually not even in the same pool. So I think Venus just getting ready for their matchup at some point. See them huddling together. So especially, I know it's a work day for some people. So we thank you for tuning in during your work day. Don't tell your boss that. But that you decide to watch some early morning Ultimate, or
Keep those headphones
depending where you are. Yeah, keep the headphones in.
the
Get the
headphones
spreadsheet out that you're ready to click right away. That you can just quickly change over here so no one knows. McLean snagging under pressure. Coming back from Poland, trying to make things happen for this Luna group. Belanger going up the line for McLean, and getting in the way was Remix. They're trying to still play hard defense right now. You love to see that. They're up 12-7, but still working on some things right now.
They're making Luna work. They're making Luna work for every single point, and that actual possession from Luna looked a lot cleaner. So hopefully they can keep doing that, get another turn, and try and score this one.
I think one thing that'll be helpful for Luna is that they get to watch this game back. So they're done for the day, so kind of an early end for them. And they'll be able to just get the game back and watch it, see what they can take away from it, know that they had some chances against Remix. A throw goes down the field, but there is a pick call. So before we even say if it was caught, there was a pick. Jansen was there. Another one of the Calgary players on this team. 85-minute games here in this tournament. There's a little hard cap action as well. But gee, you know what I'm looking forward to is in the finals, there is no hard cap. So you have there's that like WIFTIF, WFTF soft cap +1. So I always love that in a final. You don't want to have the losing team score the last point. You got to score the point to win.
Yeah.
I do like that.
You got to work for it. If you want to win a championship, you got to work for it, right?
Exactly.
It also makes the team feel better because you actually earned that last point.
Yeah, I've seen games end in that fashion. Wang almost got there. A little concentration, rocking the Sunny G's out there as well. Little style there while you play.
Gotta look good.
Robigard, you know, was going to go for that big huck. Decides to settle for an under instead. And a big layout block. Wendy Tien going horizontal to make things happen for a Remix. They're up 12-7, but you wouldn't know it. They're fighting tooth and nail for every point right now. That's going to bow out. Vanderlyn finds a very open Tien. And Tien's going to get a little bookends. You hear that from G. Bookends.
It's a pick call.
But we're too early for that call, G.
I was excited too.
I don't know if you're going to jump out of the booth necessarily
I'll
excited,
try not to.
but you were a little bit excited. I saw the arms waving a little bit.
Well, that's how I am usually. So you've calmed me down on this live stream. Thanks, Theo. Maybe it's Tushar.
Our producer Tushar, he's wearing many hats right now. He's watching the audio levels, fixing the score, also like controlling the camera. So no assistant this time around for Mr. Singh. Vanderland going around, Wang, and a catch block, but probably a foul there, right?
I think who's that one there? Oh, I think Amanda thought that she had the disc already before the Luna player came through.
Wang trying to get in the area. You know, there's 2 Amandas on this team, so we'll differentiate for you on the stream, kind of like how there's 2 Belanger, so we'll use their first name. But Wang was there, Prudhomme as well.
I like nicknames too, so I'll call her Sunny Wang for her sunglasses. It's a good look.
That's not her actual nickname, though.
Oh, no,
You're just
no.
making
I'm
that
just
up.
making them up.
Hey,
right
I
now.
like it. Coining it
It's
on
the
the
only
stream.
way I can remember names.
Sunny Wang. We'll go with that. I do like the Sunny G's look, though.
The conversation right now, I think, is about that play, and they're talking about, I think, what it looks like is a contested foul. So the observers right now are just getting involved to just help them kind of either come to a conclusion or move on with the play.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the delays. I think observers just got to go in and say, hey, it's either you come to me with I'm going to rule a foul or not foul, or you contest it. Like,
Yeah.
the whole discussion thing saps a lot of momentum for both teams. And teams are paying good money to not have calls. They're here to play. So let's just get the ultimate moving here. Of course, we want to make sure we get the call right.
Yeah.
But let's get things moving, you know? Looks like a no foul call. So it's going to be a run-through block for Luna and Prudhomme, who produced that block there out of Gatineau. He's going to keep the disc. Needs a reset. Finds Robillard. And all over the backfield. Has a receiver going deep, but perhaps too far to start. Belanger now. Inside. Now Robillard had it in power position. He's going to go with the huck. And a block from Amanda Wang. Getting the left arm, swatting it out of the air. And Remix still showing off that great defense right now.
That was a great look by Robillard. She had a one-on-one chance and just came a little bit short with Amanda Wang coming in for a nice D.
Big left-hand swat. And I said this already, but really been impressed with the fortitude of Remix, trying to make plays happen despite the advantage that they have. That shows they're a well-coached team. They're a young team that's hungry to make plays. I know you mentioned there were a couple Women's Masters players as a pick is called, and that's going to remain a turnover there. But you add in a few veterans. You got the young players who are gunning to make a name for themselves, make some plays, and you have a good recipe for a team.
Yeah. They learn from the veterans around them. It's easier to kind of keep it calm and make what you think is a better decision when you have someone out there to help you, guide you through it.
Robillard gets a reset to Belanger. Prudhomme was churning yards underneath, but this goes in and out of the hands of a Luna receiver. And Remix going to have another break opportunity, and they're counted 5th straight point potentially. Tien, good concentration and finds a teammate, but there's a travel call. Going back into the stack is Husband. Vanderland. And all over the stat sheet with assist. Finds a blazing receiver up the line. That's Megan Ganley.
Great
Bursts up
upline.
line for the score.
Really nice upline cut. Sealed her defender, got the disc, nice and easy.
Put on the afterburners, really just going right in there. And it's 13-7 is the score line here. And Luna, they'll take away some things from this game. I think there's some turnovers that you kind of want back, but overall, I think they have some things that they can look at and say, hey, we can build off of this for future games.
Yeah, and I think they should look at this in a positive light too. Like, they're working hard. They are working for each point. They're working on defense, and sometimes we're not connecting, but I do feel like they are doing a wonderful job of just moving that disc and grinding out points.
We still see Luna having their players on the field in between points. And so despite the deficit the way it is, having that happen has been exciting to see. Shows that team camaraderie and those things. As we get a look back on the Remix defensive line. Been really impressed with their ability to convert these break opportunities. They've had many, and they've taken advantage of them and really shown their power in the second half.
They're making the other team work. They're making Remix work for these points. So I think that coming out of this game, the coaches can see this as a really good experience for these players and come back tomorrow and just start working hard again to get into pool play or power play pools.
Now the Remix Venus matchup and Cube matchup will be interesting, and even for Luna, now that they've seen Cube lost the team that they saw second in their pool, they're thinking, oh, we don't really have a chance maybe because of the seeds.
Yeah.
But the results don't really show that, so they have a chance too, and they're going to come in firing for that matchup tomorrow. As we mentioned, this is their last game of the day. It's a little bit different when you have a pool of 5, right? You can split up into 2-2, whereas the other teams with pools of 4, they're going to play 3 games in a day. That's the open division here. So all 3 divisions represented, as there is a call there. Little pick action happening downfield. Coming in on stall 4 with Emily Bennett. Going around and trying to make that grab was Ashlyn Smith. Just out of reach. See if Remix decides to, I think they can still punch it in and get the 15 score, but it might be timed out here. We're going to see. We're going to hear the horn soon, I think. 85-minute games. Game started at 10:30 there for those who have just tuned in.
These points are long, so we shall see if they can actually capitalize right away.
If you're Remix, if I'm Nigel or a Remix team, I want to get to 15. Just like really punch it in, show our might. Big floaty throw out, knocked away.
Luna thinks otherwise. Luna wants you guys to work for this one real good. That was great defense over there.
Work. That's right. Once again, make sure you tune in for the next stream at 12:30, same spot.